Today we're going to talk about a highly requested topic that I'm going to make for this coaching. Maybe I'm going to publish it at some point, but for now it's going to be exclusive to the coaching and maybe exclusive to the community. We're going to talk about how to actually improve in calisthenics. Ultimately, what we of course want to do is we have this goal in mind of the front lever, the planche, the handstand, some move that we want to learn. But going from not being able to do that at all to being able to hold that move for 5, 10, 15 seconds or even longer, or being able to do movements in that skill like pull-ups from the front lever position or push-ups in the planche position, it is a very big step going from not being able to do that to being able to do that. So what do we do in between? How do we force ourselves, our bodies, to improve to be able to do that in the future? That is the big question, and that is what we're diving into today. There are a few different ways that we can force our body to make those adaptations happen that are needed to get to those points. And those take place in strength adaptations, tendon adaptations. Our tendons have to be used to the pressure in order not to rip apart. And of course also nervous system adaptations, because our nervous system has to be able to let those neurons fire, to activate the right muscles, to coordinate those muscle groups together. Those have to happen some ways. So one way we can make this happen is, of course, it's one of the easiest. We can do 10 push-ups today. We try to do 11 push-ups tomorrow. 12 push-ups the day after, 13 push-ups the day after, and so on. So just increasing the amount of reps that we're doing. This doesn't have to be on a daily basis, because training daily is a very hard approach. You have to know what you're doing exactly. So it could just be doing 3 sets of 10 push-ups today, and in the next workout that you're following, you're going to try to do 11 in the last set. So that's an increase of 1 rep at the last of your sets. And if those 3 times 10 push-ups were actually in your max, trying to do an 11th rep in that last set is going to force your body to adapt to that, because the next time that you're forcing it to 11 reps, it wants to be prepared. Now, the second way that we can force our body to progress is by adjusting the intensity. So this could be, let's say in today's training, we're doing push-ups and we're doing 15 reps. So progression where we can easily progress from. The way that we can force our body to improve in a different way than changing the reps, because at some point you don't want to increase the reps even further. Maybe you're already at like 50 push-ups. The way that you could then do it is by changing the progression. So going from regular push-ups to maybe push-ups while you're leaning a little bit forward, or push-ups where your legs are slightly elevated. So this is what we call increasing the intensity of the exercises, doing a progression that is harder in general for you. You test that by just trying it out, and you'll see with the legs elevated, you're not going to be able to do as many reps as with just the legs on the ground. So that is a harder progression for you. And by doing that progression, that is one way we could increase the difficulty and in turn force the body to adapt to harder exercises. Now, the third way that we can actually force our body to adapt is by changing the frequency. The frequency basically just means the amount of times that you're training a certain move or a certain body part in the week. So if you're doing a full body split, and in that full body split you're training push-ups, you would be training your shoulders. You would be training your shoulders 3 times a week. That is your frequency. Now, if we're talking about increasing the frequency, that would be, for example, training the push-ups or the shoulders 4 times a week. That is already going to be harder for the body to recover from. And that is another way we can force the body to adapt. Another way of making things harder for ourselves. So those were 3 ways that we can actually increase difficulty in different areas of the training that can force the body to adapt and in turn make progress happen. There are a few more that you should know of. For example, increasing the volume, which can happen through increasing the amount of sets, increasing the amount of exercises. We can also increase the intensity by decreasing the amount of rest time that we have between this. So that could be going from 60 seconds of rest between an exercise to just 30 seconds of rest between an exercise. And those are just examples. So if you've already applied a few of these principles that I've just taught you in your training and you've made some progress from them, feel free to tag my Instagram, do a story, I will hit you with a repost. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you got some more suggestions of other topics that I can do videos on, drop them in the comments, write me a message, and then I will see you in the next video. I wish you the best possible progression. Have fun training.